So today, there we go. Today we'll be talking about how everyday food choice can help prevent and manage diabetes and help to restore the body. And then we'll also be talking about some whole foods and herbs and cultural rooted meals also that can help support, prevent and manage diabetes. We have a wonderful presenter here today with us, Sue Ellen Anderson-Haynes. She will be presenting, and we will also be learning about what is diabetes. Her presentations are really interactive, so she'll be asking questions. So feel free to, raise your hand and I'll call out your name. So don't shy away here. This is a community convoy. We want everyone to be involved. So before we do that, though, before we come get into the convo, I just want to begin with um, grounding in this space with a quick participant agreement that I'll be reading. This helps us create a supportive, respectful, and safe environment for everyone here. So let me bring that up. Hold on. Share my screen. Can I do that?
Do we have to?
Hold
I
on.
think so, but we can make
I
her
think
go.
I sent it to you, I believe.
You should be able to share, Rosie. It's open to as long as no one else is sharing.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Can you see that? Let me bring it up.
Yes.
Got it? Okay. Let me put this down so I can actually see it because it's too big on my end. Okay. Participants' agreements. Listen with care, hold space for each other by practicing active and compassionate listening, whether you're a panelist or a community member. Step up, step back. Share your voice if you haven't spoken, and make space for others if you've spoken a lot. Speak from the I. Share your personal experience instead of generalizing for others. Honor all forms of expertise. Professional training, research, and lived experience all contribute valuable knowledge. Create space for different voices and ways of knowing. Respect confidentiality. Personal stories shared in the space stay here, unless you have permission to share outside. Panelists are here to share knowledge and lived experience, not medical advice. Please consult a licensed healthcare provider for personal medical concerns. Assume best attentions, attend to impact. We may not always get it right, but we stay open to learning and repair. One mic, only one person speaks at a time, avoid side conversations, and for the most part, stay on mute. Just want to add that on. If just in case you have a question, just raise your hand and I'll call on your name and you can come off mute. Respect time. Be mindful of the time so everyone has a chance to share. Community care. Care for yourself. So feel free to get up, take a break, use the bathroom, drink some water, whatever you have to do to take care of yourself. And that which supports the collective well-being of the group. Let me stop sharing that. And I will introduce, I can't stop sharing now. Why is that?
Yeah, I think you stopped sharing.
Hold on. Did I? Okay. All right. Oh my. Okay. I want to welcome Sue Ellen. Let's start with you just telling us a little bit about who you are and how did you come to do this work in the nutrition and diabetes field?
Hi, thanks for having me. I have a lot to say about what I do, but to make it short, I am a dietitian. I've been a dietitian
All right,
for
take care.
I've been a dietitian for almost 20 years. I live in Massachusetts here. I've worked at Joslin Diabetes Center in the pregnancy unit as the lead dietitian. So I helped with women in fertility, pregnant, postpartum. I also led sessions in the weight management program, and I also worked at a bariatric center. I've worked at several inpatient and outpatient facilities. It will take me a lot to kind of tell you all the places, but I have quite a bit of detail experience in that area. I'm also a private practice owner, so I own 360 Girls and Women, which is a health and wellness company for girls and women. I also recently formed a nonprofit, 501(c)(3) nonprofit called Beat Gestational Diabetes. It's an acronym that stands for before pregnancy, entering pregnancy, at diagnosis, through delivery, and beyond. So at this nonprofit, we increase awareness for the support that's needed for moms and moms to be, whether they have risk for diabetes or they're developed or develop in gestational diabetes. So we provide the support there and we collaborate with other organizations. And then last, I am a founder or co-founder of an app called Cultured Health that connects dietitians to clients based on culture. So we understand that culture is very important in the way that we eat. We eat based on what we are brought up eating, right? And culture food and culture kind of goes together. So it's really important that when you're finding a dietitian, you find someone that respects what you eat and can provide and cater a plan for you that it's something that you can eat. So I'm going to try to make this as interactive as possible. I don't know if anyone has any other questions for me. That's kind of like the short, even shorter bio that I sent Rosie. Um, if you want to know later more about me, I'll love to tell you. But I've served in a lot of organizations nationally, and I've done some international work, and I've been quoted in the media quite often, and appeared on TV and in print. But if you want to learn more about me, you could, look me up or ask questions. Let me silent my phone. Actually, that's what I was trying to do before we started. Okay, so so that's it. Anyone have any questions before I get started? No questions in the chat?
Someone in the chat just asked if you could name the app again.
Yes, it's Cultured Health. I can put it in.
It's in your bio all the way at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you could go to iamculturedhealth.com if you want to find a dietitian.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's on the app stores, all of the app stores as well. So yeah, so let me try to bring up my presentation. Okay. So I'm going to be using PowerPoint and oops,
Mhm.
I'm going to share. Here we go, share. And I'm going to share this way. Oops, okay. Um, okay, can you guys see the screen? Can let me know in the
Yes.
chat if you
Yes.
can see
Yes.
the screen. Awesome,
I
awesome.
can see this.
All right. So our title is it's about diabetes, but I'm going to try to make this more general because not everyone has diabetes, right? But it is National Diabetes Awareness Month, so we want to increase awareness of diabetes because a lot of our communities are suffering from diabetes and some of them don't know they have it. So we're going to talk about how we can heal the body through proper nutrition, right? And this is just a high level type of presentation. It is not in any way encompasses everything that I teach. There's so much to learn about diabetes, but there's so much also to learn about nutrition. So, as a disclaimer, as Rosie mentioned earlier, this is no way in any form or shape medical advice. This is general information, informational purposes only. You must consult your personal registered dietitian, nutritionist, your own healthcare provider, primary care, if you have a health condition or concern. I will answer questions, but again, this is just generally speaking. So we're going to talk about what is insulin resistance, what's diabetes, what are the different types, how does it diabetes impact your body? Does it really impact your cells, and can your cells repair? A lot of other chronic diseases exist today, diet and lifestyle related, but can our body repair? Are we meant to heal? So we'll talk about that. And then when should you see your provider? What are some signs and symptoms? And then what are nutrients combinations? We're going to touch it high level a little bit about what are some of these important nutrients that we need to help our body heal and to help it become stable in terms of blood sugar regulation. And then I'll answer some questions that you guys may have about the holidays, because I know the holidays are right around the corner. So let's get into this. So let's start with insulin resistance. Can anybody tell me what does this word mean? If you get it wrong, it's okay. Just want to kind of get you minds going in the chat. Just let me know what you've heard about this word, or do you even understand what it means? Let me know, and I'll look into the chat here. Let's see. I don't see anybody mention. So listen, I'm not going to go on if you don't interact with me. I need some interaction. So I need some people to talk to me, drop some messages, because if you can't interact with me, then it's, I can't communicate. So someone tell me something. What do you think insulin resistance is? If you're wrong, it's okay. Drop it in the chat
Use
or
insulin. You can't use insulin.
okay. Thank you. Thank you, Leah. I can't use insulin. Anybody else?
I see. Your body does not produce insulin. The amount of sugar your body produces, your body can't process sugar.
Are you looking it up?
No, I'm reading the chat.
Oh, you're in the chat. Okay, because I didn't see
In the
anything.
chat, so I'll read the chat for you. Sorry.
Okay, you read the chat for me. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
All right. So insulin, just so you guys know, it's a hormone that is in our body, in our pancreas, that's released when we eat a meal and helps to lower our blood sugar. It plays a very, very important role in our metabolism. People think, oh, you just need insulin for, people with diabetes or sugar. No, it's your entire metabolism, even your hormones as a woman. Insulin is like the alpha hormone. It is so important. So I want you to think of this analogy of insulin. So insulin is like a key that unlocks the door's cell so sugar can go in to the body. So when you eat, think about eating I like mangoes. So when I eat a mango, I'm like, that thing is so good. So I'm eating a mango. The carbohydrate starts to digest in the mouth because we have things like amylase in the mouth. It goes down into our stomach, and the gastric juice is digested further there. And there's a signal that says, oh, she's eating something. And so that insulin is released in the pancreas. And so what that does is take the sugar from the mango, right? Because as it's digesting, it shuttles it into our cell. And the cell is like that door you see right there. The insulin is that key, whether it's a card key or actual key. And so there's a signal going on. The key comes out, the cell responds, and boom, that door opens. The door opens and the sugar from your food, and this is called glucose, right? So any type of meal that you're eating, you're going to produce the end product is glucose, typically carbohydrate foods like bread, rice, pasta, that mango. But when you eat foods, particularly carbohydrates, this is what's going on. The door opens, the cell responds, and the sugar goes into the cell, and it must go into the cell. If you're not having glucose in the cell, then you're going to kind of suffer some things. You're going to have some signs and symptoms of issues that we'll talk about. But if the sugar stays in your bloodstream, that's where we say it's called hyperglycemia or high blood sugar. We don't want that cell in the bloodstream. The reason that we don't want the sugar, in the bloodstream. The reason the sugar will stay in the bloodstream is because the key, the insulin, or the door, which is a cell, is not responding to what's going on, to the breakdown of the carbs, right, that you're eating. And so it's either the key's not working, it's a wrong key, or the key's broken, malfunction because of the high fat that's surrounding the cells. Because when your cells are too fatty, sometimes the insulin doesn't work. right? So there's different reasons why this mechanism is going on, but it's diet and lifestyle related. So we need the sugar or the glucose to go into our cells because we need energy. We need to move our muscles. We need to think. Our brain needs to think. We need our heart to pump. We need all these cellular functions to happen. We cannot have this excess sugar floating around in our bloodstream just sitting there. We need it in our bloodstream when we're on a fight or flight mission. If a dog's chasing us and we need sugar right away, the body says, let me release the sugar in the bloodstream so you could get energy to just go. But you don't need that after you eat. You need you need it in the cells. Okay, so what are the signs? Can anyone tell me like signs and symptoms? So I just want to clarify. A sign typically is like your lab value. People use that word interchangeably, and it can be interchangeably used, but signs typically are like, what are the signs am I looking at on your labs? What's being done? What's being done in your body that can be reflected in your labs? And the symptoms are what you feel like, oh, I don't feel this way, or I am feeling this way. Can anyone mention any of these? And if not, I'm here, I'll go over it, but just want to kind of get your input as signs
In-
and symptoms.
I'm reading from the chat, increase hunger or thirst.
That's symptoms. Yep, yep.
Keep it coming, guys.
All right. And what about the lab values? Anyone that can, I mean, you probably any healthcare providers in the room? You may not, or maybe you're not a healthcare provider, but maybe you have diabetes and you know what the lab values are because they check them every 3 months. Do you know anybody what some of these lab values we may look at as healthcare providers?
Is it your A1C?
Yes, yes, your
Mm.
A1C, that's one of them. So A1C, since you mentioned that, is called hemoglobin A1C. And so what that does is we have something called red blood cells in our body. It's very important. We need those red blood cells and they give us oxygen, and they give us all these different types of metabolic functions that we need in our body. But glucose or sugar attaches to our red blood cells and they have a half-life, or they live for about 3 months until they die and new blood cells are formed. So every 3 months, we can see approximately about what your average blood glucose numbers are, like how high or how low your blood sugar is, because the sugar attaches to the red blood cell and it follows it around. So what they do when they go to the lab, they pull your A1C from looking at your red blood cells. And so if your blood sugar is on the higher side, so if you take a fasting blood sugar and it's like 126 or higher, that is diabetes. Okay, if it's 100 to 125, that's pre-diabetes. If it's within the range of less than 100, like maybe 70 to 100, 70 to 99, that's normal. But even my patients, when I see numbers in the 90s and it creeps up to 98, 99, I'm like, your body is telling you something. We need to do some further testing to see if you're having insulin resistance, because you know what? Insulin resistance takes decades to happen. So people don't just wake up with diabetes. You don't just like, oh, one day you're fine and the next day or week you get diabetes. Diabetes can take decades, years to develop. Your body tells you these symptoms and we are ignoring them. We think we're just in perimenopause or menopause. We think we're just getting older. We think that it's something else, but we're missing these signs and symptoms. So some
I
of
have a
the
question, Sue Ellen.
Mhm.
How often should anyone get their blood sugars checked?
Yeah, so if you have diabetes, it's every 3 months we're running that A1C. If you don't have diabetes, you could get your A1C, and if it's normal range, annually, like every year when you get your checkup, right? However, that varies. It depends on what else is going on in your body. If you have PCOS, like polycystic ovarian syndrome, this is a reproductive and metabolic hormone dysfunction that some women may have, and it carries insulin resistance with it. I may check my particular patient's A1C maybe every 6 months or even every 3 months because they are on the verge to diabetes, some of them, but you can, put it to sleep or suppress it. So it really depends on your particular issue. But if you have diabetes, every 3 months is important. If you have pre-diabetes, even every 3 months, 6 months at least, I would say, even if you get pre-diabetes. And pre-diabetes, by the way, is not diabetes, but it means that your numbers are getting close to the diabetes range. But some people are even missing the prediabetes diagnosis. A new study in the Lancet shows that that about half the people with diabetes don't know they have it. So half the people that have diabetes don't know they have it. It's very scary because 1 in 9 people globally have diabetes, right? And most of the people don't know. So if you don't know you have it, you're going to damage your organs over time. And it can lead to serious issues that we can talk about later. But another sign, like I mentioned, you could look at your laboratory values. Your cholesterol levels may be elevated. Some people have fatty liver. Some other signs in laboratory values is your fasting blood sugars, like I mentioned those, but your A1C should be if it's less than 5.7 is normal. But if it's 5.7 to 6.4, then you have pre-diabetes. And once it gets to 6.5, it's diabetes. So I'm not going to go through all those numbers too much with you. You could look them up and you can talk to your provider. But the point is there are signs that you could look for in your laboratory value, and a clinician, such as a dietitian or a nurse or your primary care nurse practitioner, physician assistant, they can go over these lab values with you. And like those symptoms, right? So you're getting thirsty. Someone mentioned hungry. Do you know why you're getting hungry? Can someone tell me why you're getting hungry with insulin resistance, which leads to diabetes? Why is hunger a symptom? Do you have the chat, Rosie?
I'm on the chat.
Oh, okay. Someone can shout it out too if you want.
Yeah, feel free to shout it out if you.
Why would you think hunger? Because remember, think about that key and the door that I explained. I'll give you a couple seconds to think about it. No one can
So
think.
I think Tanya has her hand raised.
Oh, sorry.
Tanya, go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Anderson. Hunger means like you are addicted to food. You are addicted to food. Me, when I see food or when people's eating, I be wanna eat that food. And I feel like I go to the gym and I said I'm hungry again. I'm addicted to it. And I need to stop eating what I need to stop eating rice because the rices have flour in it. But I'm addicted to it. And hunger means like you are bloated, your knees hurting you, your back is hurting you. It's gonna be overweight on your body. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is that when you're hungry, you want to eat more. So,
And I think there's
but
one more hand up for
okay, go ahead.
Is it Danya?
Yeah, Denise.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
would say it's because your body's not getting the right amount of protein. Like that could be the reason why you feel hungry a lot, I would say.
Okay, that's interesting as well. So good information from you guys. So one of the main reasons why you're hungry is because your cells are starving of sugar. The number one fuel for your brain and your red blood cells is carbohydrates. The number one fuel. So I know we have a lot of information going on in the media about protein. Yes, we need protein, but we are actually probably eating too much protein in America. The risks and the rates, I would say, of colon cancer are steadily rising, and colon cancer is really risk factors of red meat and processed meats, processed foods, extra ultra processed foods, alcohol consumption, smoking, different things of that realm. It's diet and lifestyle related as well. There are some genetic components, but cancer, when we think of cancer, there's very small amounts of cancer. There's 95% of cancers are diet and lifestyle related. According to last research I looked at, about 5% or so is really genetics, right? So a lot of the cancers that are coming is from what we're putting into our body or what we're exposed in our body. So when we think of hunger, our cells are starving of glucose. We should not be afraid of carbs. As a diabetes educator, board certified diabetes educator, I'm going to tell you today, you need to eat carbohydrates, but we're eating the wrong types. And I'm going to talk about that again also later. But the lock and key, the insulin, right? The key is not opening correctly the cell's door. So the sugar is flooding the bloodstream. It's not getting into your cells, so your cells are starving. That's why you're hungry. You just ate, but your cells are like, you just ate, but I still don't feel, I'm not getting that energy. The sugar's not coming in, the door is not opening, so I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So you constantly eat because your cells are starving. Again, the number one fuel for your brain and your red blood cell is carbohydrates. And you if you're eating too much protein, which is sometimes a keto diet or a high, too high protein, and it could affect your kidneys and different things. You're also starving your body of carbohydrates. So you want to make sure you're balancing. You want to eat protein, you want to eat carbs, you want to eat fat, healthy fat. And there's a way to balance it out, which we'll talk about in a second. But these are good points. But addiction, some people can be addicted to, so addiction could be anything. So, there's dilemmas. I would say dilemma. There's a controversy about, can you be really addicted to food? Some people say no, you can't be, but you could be really addicted to anything. You could be addicted to anything that you're overcompensating for, you're wanting, you're thinking about over and over. So food can be possibly an addiction, but when you're hungry, that's not really an addiction. It's just you're hungry and your body's saying, I'm not getting the fuel I need. You're not getting the right amount of nutrients, not the right amount of fiber, the micronutrients like, iron. When people are iron deficient, they also have increased hunger because your iron drives energy into your body. Iron, it's important with the red blood cells. They work together, right? And so if you're not getting enough iron, red blood cells aren't, getting the nutrients you need. You're not getting enough oxygen. You feel low energy. So there's micronutrients like minerals, which we'll talk about a little bit, and then there's macronutrients, the bigger fiber, which is carbohydrates, and then it is fat and protein that helps drive our body and provide energy. So I'm going to go to the next slide and we'll hop back on about nutrients and carbohydrates, what they are in a second, but I want to kind of get through this. So as we talk about diabetes, there's different types of diabetes and sometimes people are confused. The main types are like gestational type 1 and type 2, but there are other types of diabetes. There's prediabetes, there's diabetes that you could get from medications, people that go to different therapies. They could have diabetes 1.5 or 1.5, some people call it. There's the various types of diabetes, but those are the minority of people. But the majority of people are getting type 2. I guess I should have asked you that question. That's one of the questions I want to ask you guys. But the majority of diabetes that exists in this world today is type 2. 90 plus or 95% plus of people are getting diagnosed with type 2.
So I have a question. Type 2, you could develop.
Yes, type 2.
Type 1, you're born with.
Yeah, so type 1, you're born with a genetic issue where something triggers your body and it attacks your immune system, it attacks your cells that produce insulin. Your immune system, your autoantibodies attack your pancreas, right? The cells that produce insulin, okay? And when that happens, you get type 1 because there's something called neonatal diabetes and it happens within the first 6 months of life. It's similar to type 1 and it happens in older children. Happens in older children less than 6 months. But there's different types of variations of diabetes, just so you all know. But the main 3 types are type 1, type 2, and gestational. And the type 1, you are born with the gene. So just so you all know, there's something called epigenetics, and I talk about this in some of my programs. Epigenetics basically means there are nutrients in foods that could turn on genes to cause disease, and they could turn them off. It's amazing how our body is created. Like our creator created our body that we have the ability to basically load the gun. So disease and lifestyle loads the gun. Oh, I would say disease loads the gun, but lifestyle and environment pulls the trigger, right? If you think about a gun, If anyone thinks about a gun, but nobody wants to think about a gun. But if you think about a gun, that's usually what we analyze it to, right? The genetics is there. It's loaded in that gun, but the lifestyle and the diet is the one that actually pulls the trigger. So back to epigenetics, there are nutrients in foods that can turn on and off genes for disease. And when we talk about type 1, something switches in the environment, something turns on that gene that you're born with, and they develop type 1. Type 2 is diet and lifestyle. You can put it into remission, it can be reversed. Or people say remission reverse. I like to say put to sleep. However, you put it to sleep, you could wake it up again by changing your diet and lifestyle the wrong way. That blood sugar will start getting elevated, things will start to happen. So what increases your risk for type 2 or just diabetes overall? So there's some risk factors for increases your risk for gestational similar to type 2. Type 1, again, you have the gene, so you can't really do too much, even though there's some research that says there's certain things that may turn it on that could suppress it. But typically speaking, could anyone tell me like 3 risk factors? What are the risk factors? What are the risks that makes you higher for getting diabetes? Can anyone tell me?
Could throw it in the chat, come off mute.
Obesity.
Yes, very good. Anything else? Number 2, can anyone list another one?
Eating a lot of candy and sugar, I would say.
I'm gonna get back on that one. Anything else?
What about soda?
Genetics.
Genetics, possibly. Yeah.
Diet and lack of exercise.
Yes. Good job, guys. So I want to jump back to the eating a lot of sugar and candy because when I talk about my myth busting class, it's one of the questions that come up. If you eat, a lot of sugar, a lot of drinks, you're gonna get diabetes. So here's the thing. Sugar doesn't really give you diabetes, but it increases your risk because when you're eating these low or empty calorie nutrients, your weight goes up. And as your weight goes up, your body fat goes up. As your body fat goes up, the insulin doesn't work well because when there's a lot of fat in our body, we're putting more work on our cells. It surrounds the cells, and the key doesn't know how to work well. It's our body becomes kind of inflamed. Overweight and obesity, you're basically in an inflamed condition. And this is not to put anybody in a bad or making overweight and obese people feel bad because I have worked with individuals that are overweight and obese, and we don't want to shame them, but we want to, understand that some people that are even overweight, their lab values are actually okay. So we don't want to just judge someone by looking at them because even smaller people, they can be very ill. Their lab values are not well and they are sick. So don't just judge someone by looking at them. But in general speaking, when you have a lot of excess fat on your cells in your body, you are becoming more inflamed. So you want to work with a dietitian to make sure that you're the right body size for you and that your inflammatory markers in your body are on a low end. Because when you walk around in an inflamed condition, and you could be smaller, thin, or large, right? But the more body fat, the increased risk goes up, then inflammation leads to disease, all types of disease. So we want to make sure we cut that inflammation down. So the other question was being inactive. Yes, being inactive because when you don't use your muscles help make your insulin work better. So even people with type 1, I've helped them lower their medication because insulin, once you have type 1, you need insulin forever to live. If you don't have insulin, you will die. Because if you're not eating, your cells aren't getting energy, your heart stop going, your brain will stop, everything will stop. You need insulin to live. So when you exercise, your body says, "Oh, I'm getting more sensitive to insulin, and I'm gonna grab the sugar from the bloodstream and push it in the cell." So that's why walking after a meal is so important. So inactivity is a very, very high risk for diabetes. Sitting too long. So when I'm in my office or where I'm anywhere, I try to get up every 30 minutes or so. And there's studies that show if you need to get up in intervals of about 30. I think the last time I checked, it's about 30-minute intervals, 30 to 40-minute intervals. You need to be getting up. Inactivity will get you. And you could be small, the smallest, cutest little person, or you could be the largest person. It doesn't matter. Inactivity will get you. Now, what else did someone say? I got sugar, diabetes. Okay, I think I addressed it all.
Ellen, there was a question about the routine blood tests. The person asked, are these routine blood tests, or do you have to be experiencing symptoms before you could check blood work? Like
Good
I'm
question.
assuming it's blood sugar.
Yeah.
This
So
routinely does, if I go to for an annual checkup or any of us, is this on the lab? Or is this something I should advocate for and request?
you should advocate for it because as a person in the healthcare field, I've been to the doctors with my parents, with my children, and I'm like, hello, hi, can I get a vitamin D? I know it's not something that you want, but vitamin D low vitamin D increases your risk for insulin resistance and a lot of other diseases like cancer. And your A1C, not every provider gets, but if you don't know what your A1C is or you're fasting, that diabetes again could creep up. So you have to tell them actually, because not all providers will get your A1C. They won't even get your vitamin D. Like usually a dietitian does those things, but providers can order like some vitamins. They can order some vitamins. But if you're not at risk for it, and I don't think you're at risk if you're not overweight, if you're not particular cultural group, they won't order the lab. And then maybe you'll find out you'll have diabetes later because you've never ordered the labs. But most providers in an annual um, checkup, they should be ordering your cholesterol levels, they should be ordering your A1C, they should be ordering a CMP, which is a complete metabolic panel that has your liver function, your kidney function. You should be having all those things annually. And if you have a chronic condition like diabetes, you're going to have them more frequently. Okay, but you need to advocate for yourself and say, listen, diabetes is rampant among everyone. It's global. It's actually a pandemic. It is a global issue. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And so I would like to know what my A1C is, and I would like to know what my fasting blood sugar is. So it's not just your A1C, because the A1C can be fine, but your fasting can be also a little elevated. Remember, I said, 70 to 99. Some people have 65 to 99. When I say people, some organization, their laboratory ranges. And if it's at the 99 range, you're pretty close to 100. And 100 to 125 is pre-diabetes. So if you're in the 90s, I'm like, hey, let's talk. Let's talk, mama. Your numbers are here. It's getting up there. I want to catch you before you get there. So I'm in the preventative role. Registered dietitians are preventative providers. Physicians are providers that treat symptoms and disease once they're there. They can be somewhat preventive depending on the type of doctor you have, but most of them are gonna say, "Oh no, you're fine. Your blood sugar is 99. You're good." So
Someone had their hands raised up. Is it Dakina? Sorry.
Dacia? I think it's Dacia.
Sorry, I'm torturing your name, Dacia. Come off mute.
Hi, how are you?
hello.
I wanted to know like what is the normal range of sugar somebody should have, whether they have diabetes or not?
Okay, so carbohydrates, something we're talking about on the next slide. I'm gonna pass this slide because there's some numbers here. You don't really have to know everything. Oh, that's not on the next slide. So I'll just tell you. So carbohydrates are, your main macronutrient. We have carbohydrate, protein, and fat. And you're supposed to get approximately 50% of your calories from carbohydrate, and that looks different for everybody. But typically speaking, most women get about 3 carb servings per meal, 2 or 3, right? It just depends how active you are, what age range you're in, and what is a carb serving. So a cup of rice, that's 2 carb serving. A half cup, approximately a third cup. Well, no. Actually, I take that back. I apologize. A cup of rice is 3 carb servings. A serving of rice cooked is a third cup. So 1/3, 1/3, or 1/3. So 3/3 makes 1 cup. And if you're having like rice and beans, and most cultural people like rice and beans, if you want to have sweet potatoes that are coming up in holidays, if you want to have mac and cheese or vegan mac and cheese, those are carbohydrates. So you can have your whole cup of rice, plus have your sweet potato pie, plus have your mac and cheese. That's too much work on your body, especially if you're suffering from insulin resistance. So cutting down your carbohydrates, not eliminating them, to smaller portions. So we're going to talk about this also, how your plate should look for not just the holidays, but how your plate should look when you're planning your meal. And this is just generalization. Remember, everyone is an individual, and I craft meals for individual persons. So this is just general. But typically, you're going to make sure that you're having 1/4 of your plate a carbohydrate. So if you want The sweet potato pie, you're gonna have to cut that in a smaller portion. If you want the rice, you could have a third cup or less. So you could have the little bit of mac and cheese, sweet potato pie, and your rice, or you could just have one of that serving, which is one or two of the servings, like 2/3 cup of rice. And then for your next meal, so you would say, you know what, the sweet potato pie or the sweet potato, baked sweet potato is going to be here tomorrow. So I'm going to eat that for tomorrow. So some people, you don't have to have everything the same day. Is something I tell my patients. Put up leftovers. If you had mac and cheese today, and I'm plant-based, so I'm going to say mac and vegan cheese, then you could have the sweet potato the next meal or the next day, right? So I hope I answer your question. It's individualized. It's about 1/4 of your plate, and it could be 2/3. It could be 2 to 3 servings. And this may seem like, French to you, but a serving of rice is about a third cup. And I use rice because a lot of cultures eat rice, but there are other foods that we talk about in my diabetes class that I teach. I give the serving size of each, and then you get an idea of how you can plan your own meal. So how does diabetes impact the body and your cells? Can they repair? Because I asked a question in the beginning. So put a yes or no in the chat. Can your body repair?
Put it in the chat. We have a question. Can you answer a question?
How does you don't have to tell me how diabetes impact your cells. We'll talk about that, but can your body repair? Once any damage has occurred, even like diabetes, can your body repair? Let me know.
Yes, I hear
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Good. Yes. So, our cells are impacted by diabetes. They get damaged through our blood vessels, right? From head to toe, blood vessels all over in our body. They restrict blood flow, right? And they repair the way oxygen and nutrients are sent to the body. And why is our blood vessels affected? Because the blood just sits there in those arteries. It sticks onto the red blood cells. It gets sticky. Your arteries get sticky, and the blood flow gets the narrow, and the blood can't get through those vessels. Think of your vessels like a pipe, like a hose. If the hose is restricted, the water can't go through. Okay. And then also it harms your nerve cells. Nerves. Have you ever heard of diabetic neuropathy? That means the blood sugars affect the way your nerves sell signals to the body that could lead to pain and tingling, for loss of feeling over time in fingers and toes, and sometimes amputation. So we want to make sure these nerves and these blood vessels getting good flow through those to the body. And then it also impairs your sexual health. Erectile dysfunction can occur because if there's no good flow, we're not going to get that erection. And for women, vaginal dryness, consistent yeast infections, and UTIs can interfere with your sexual life. And why does that happen? Because when there's sugar in the body, your body's trying to urinate that sugar out. Frequent urination is a symptom. You're constantly trying to get rid of the sugar from your bloodstream, and that can irritate you and cause increased UTI and yeast infection. You're constantly hungry, so you're eating excess calories, and you could gain weight. Some people may lose weight, but you typically may gain some weight. Right? You get
Can I
poor.
pause you for a minute? There's a few questions. You mind pausing just for a minute?
Okay, go ahead.
Was hand up. Marilinda, I'm probably torturing your name, but you got the Union Capitol. I seen your hand's been up for a little while.
Thank you. Hi. Thank you, Sue Ellen. Hi. It's good to see you again. Ladies and gentlemen, she is an awesome nutritionist. I must say she did a wonderful presentation. As far as the natural foods that you have to eat, you did a presentation at Boston Public Health Commission.
I remember you.
Yes. I just wanted to know, with this whole segment, what kind of health insurance are you accepting right now? Because I know we did speak about that way back. I don't know. Because
Yeah,
I think
so
it's
United, I'm working on Blue Cross and Harvard Health, so I'm getting back some type of coverage because if you don't, so my practice typically is based on private pay and self-pay, and because of my programs, they don't cover you seeing like a naturopathic doctor. They don't cover some of the programmings that I do, like with nutrition and beauty and skin health. Some of those things don't cross over, and so the insurance companies don't cover all of those things. So most people are using their private pay or HSA or healthcare cards. Now, if you just want nutrition counseling one-on-one, not group education or any type of programming that I provide in my specialty, then we can work together to see what insurance you have and we can try to figure that out. But I know that I'm getting back into, well, when I say back into, I was covered, but because people weren't using it, I didn't follow up with the rest of that credentialing. So I'm gonna get an organization to follow up through. So if you are not covered, let's say Harvard, not Harvard Health, but if Blue Cross and Blue Shield, eventually I'm gonna get coverage for that so that patients can come to me. So depending on what insurance you have, we could work it out and see how we can get it covered.
and for folks with low income insurance, no.
Yeah, so all of that. So I'm again, I have a company that's gonna credential everything and work through what particular insurance companies that we can work with and get accepted for. It's a process. Just how, when you go to a doctor's office, I have a private telehealth services, they have to apply to get the credentialing. And some people's insurance are accepted based on different criterias and some are not. So yeah, we're gonna get back there because a lot of people are wanting to use their insurance. There's some people also that prefer not to. Then they want to use private pay or their health saving plan or flexible savings plan.
Yes, thank you. And I think you should come and do a presentation on the food, the cooking class that you did last. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much.
Thank
Really,
you.
yeah, I did.
Question.
I love to
Are
cook.
you accepting Mass Health or will you be working on?
Yeah, I'll be
A lot of
working on
people in the
that.
community have Mass Health.
Yeah, I'm gonna be working on Mass Health, and some other, like I said, Blue Cross and some other insurance companies that a few people have mentioned, and I said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna try to make sure I can accept a group of them because in order to accept, you have to, like I said, meet certain criterias, and you have to like keep it up. And so we're gonna make sure that we can accept as much as we can so that we can see individuals to use their benefits.
All right, there was one more hand up. Sorry, Mani. I'm not sure. Can you?
Romaine, I'm here.
Romaine?
Yes. Now I
Romaine.
have a question. Okay, my husband, he's 84 years old. Diabetes running his family. Far as I know, he don't have diabetes. But my question is, you just said you take United, right?
Yeah, as far as
Oh,
I know, United Health is something that's under our umbrella. So now the
yeah.
different types
Oh,
of coverage with United. So we could go through that. We'll talk about what you
yeah.
have and we could call and see. Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, okay, he's homebound now. He had a stroke. So it's real. I haven't been able to get him out to the doctor because he's scared to go down the stairs. So how would I know if he's developing diabetes?
That's a good question. You pay attention to the signs and symptoms, frequent urination, constant hunger, poor wound healing if he has cuts and he's not healing. If
Mm-hmm.
he has diabetes that runs in the family, his risk is high. There's certain tests in the pharmacy over-counter tests. I don't know how accurate they are, but some of them you could test your fasting blood sugar and
Okay.
they'll let you know. There's also some blood glucose meters out there. If you could find a meter, if you have a meter, when I say
Mm-hmm.
find a meter, you have to make sure that it's a single use meter, not your sharing meters,
Yeah.
because you can transfer disease. Okay, so
right.
a blood glucose meter, and you could test his blood sugar after he eats. And you need to know the range typically after you eat. But if it's like in the 200s or something like that, you could say, okay, this is really elevated. And you check like an hour and a half after or something that's less than 180 or 200. But you will need a provider to guide you through that. But
Okay.
he definitely should get to the provider because he needs to be evaluated, especially after having a stroke. There's certain things that can change in the body. So I would say if you can try to get him to see his doctor, yeah, and then if perhaps there's a virtual visit that some doctors accept virtual visits. I know I do telehealth, so I can see him there if that's something that we could do on the side. If that works out, we'll talk about that on the after the presentation. But he needs to see.
Okay.
I will implore you that you should definitely let him see his provider somehow virtually or in person, and he definitely should be getting some blood work.
Okay. Thank
Hi,
you.
hi, this is Barbara Cousins from Dimick. I don't know if you've checked into the PACE program where they will come up to your house.
Excuse me.
Put it in the chat.
He's a patient of Dimitri.
Oh, he is a PACE? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Oh, okay. Do they come and check?
No, ma'am.
Really? Well, you should probably call them. That's definitely something that they're supposed to do.
Okay.
We got like 20 minutes maybe. We want to be able to pause at 4:20. And I know you're not
Okay.
halfway, Sue Ellen.
Yeah. So
I know it's a lot of material to get through.
yeah, so basically diabetes can affect your entire body. And when you have insulin resistance, again, remember it starts before diabetes. So you could have this going on for decades before you actually figure out what's going on. So can your cells repair? Yes, your cells can repair. And some vitamins and minerals that you could kind of look at are vitamin D. So vitamin D is really, really important. Where is vitamin D found? It's found in like egg yolks. It's found in fortified milk. I use plant-based milk. So soy milk, you have vitamin D there. You could also find vitamin D in fatty fish like salmon, but all types of fish have some vitamin D, like sardines are more affordable for some people. There's vitamin D there. Vitamin D, of course, the sun is something you want to get into to make sure that's helping you transform. So what does vitamin D do? It promotes cellular function and healing and maintains skin barrier, but it also reduces risk of cancer, insulin resistance, and when I say cancer, like breast cancer, all types of different cancers, and it extends your telomeres. So we have like shoestrings, or if you think about like a pencil, the end of a pencil, like the eraser part of the pencil, your chromosomes have these endings and they're called telomeres. And so what they've found with the vitamin D is that it extends those erasers or shoes, the ends of the pencil. And when it extends it, the longer they are, the better, the longer your life and the lower risk of disease that you have. But the shorter your telomeres means that the shorter your life will be, more disease and illnesses you'll get. And what extends the telomeres? Vitamin D. What the study shows. They compared that to vitamin D and omega-3s. A lot of people are like, omega-3s are good. Omega-3s are good. Yes, they're good. But vitamin D outshines omega-3 when it talks about immune function and reduction in risk of disease. Now, it's not like a super vitamin, but maybe it is. I love it so much. It's kind of like a hormone. It's an antioxidant. It's more than just a vitamin. It's a lot. But in vitamin C, something else. We talk about collagen. Oh, we're getting collagen for ourselves. But guess what? You need vitamin C to make collagen. You need vitamin C to make collagen. Where does vitamin C come from? Plants. Collagen helps your body heal, right? All right. This vitamin C helps your body heal with wounds and it reduces the severity of a cold, right? And it helps synthesize collagen, like I said, and it helps with immune function. So that's really important too. And then vitamin A, right? So when we think of vitamin A, that's mainly animal products, but beta carotene from plants like carrots and sweet potatoes and things like that, it transfers into the body, and the body makes beta carotene to vitamin A. But what does vitamin A do? It's a fatty vitamin. It's a fat type of vitamin, but it helps with cell growth and repair. So these are types of vitamins that help to repair. So in essence, you need to eat a diet that is healthy with lots of fruits and vegetables. And also making sure you're eating them with color. The color is important, right? When you think of protein foods, protein helps with repair as well. But when we think of protein, you want to eat most of your protein from plants. And why do I say that? Because most of us are eating more protein from animals when I say most of us, the America or the Western diet, we're eating mainly saturated fat that's found in animal foods. And we talked about the colon risk cancer and all this protein, protein, protein. There is a effect of eating too much protein. It's affecting your cells in one way. So it's helping to repair, yes, but then the extra saturated fat from the animal foods you're eating is interrupting with the function of your insulin and other hormonal functions. So when you're eating protein, think of more plant protein like tofu,
Give us an example.
tempeh.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Tofu, that's what I was asking. You're answering the question.
Yeah, tofu, tempeh, beans, lentils, peas. So you're getting protein and you're getting fiber. So we had another class we talked about at Rosie, food is medicine and your gut. There's a big ecosystem in your gut. We don't have time for that, talk about that, but we really need to think about fiber as the next and the next, but the food of importance. People are like, oh, protein, but it's really all nutrients are good. But when we think about fiber, it's on top of the list, and fiber is only found in plants. And so when we think of minerals now, so can our cells repair? Yes, we need vitamins and we need minerals. And this doesn't mean go taking a supplement, because supplements are fine, but they don't work the same way as food. Foods, when you eat those nutrients in food, they work together and create a particular compounds and formed in the body work, versus if you take vitamins in isolation, they don't really work together as well. So vitamins are okay, but foods are best. So, we need zinc. Again, it helps with growth and healing. They're found in like cashews, nuts, and seeds, selenium.
Miss Ramona.
What did I ask you to do for me?
Listen.
Hey guys, I just wanted to remind everyone, please go to mute if you're not speaking.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Right. So, and then to wrap things up, zinc helps with also healing the skin, but also with the immune function. When you're not feeling well, zinc and vitamin C can help with reducing the symptom and severity of a cold. So compared, this is what research says, right? Zinc and vitamin C really does that, and it boosts, not well, I would say boost, but it just makes your immune system works better. And magnesium also, we're deficient in magnesium because a lot of us are really staying away from so many carbs. We're like, oh, carbs gonna hurt me. Carbs that we need are from the whole grains, like the barley, bulgur, buckwheat, quinoa, brown rice. If you eat white rice, okay, but you need to add some beans to it, like rice and beans, right? But you want to have a variety. Don't just eat white rice all the time. Experiment with red rice, with black rice. There's all these different things out there that you can try. And guess what? When we think about a budget, something that's budget friendly, did you know that it's more economical to eat plants? If you try to get meats and all these different types of things that are more expensive now in the market, you're going to break the bank with your with the budget that you have. But if you try to get proteins from legumes, nuts, and seeds, you could make a bean burger, you could make falafel balls, you can make a lentil loaf for Thanksgiving if you don't have a turkey or something. Like, you don't have to always go for the meats, because remember, those are the meats are high in saturated fat. Even the lean cuts of meats, they still have saturated fat. So you want to reduce that as much as possible. Eat more plants. If I may sound biased because I'm a plant-based dietitian, but I once used to eat all those heavy meats too. And I changed my diet over time because of things that I have went through personally in my life. And I can tell you from what I've helped with parents in my life, you can't go wrong with eating more plants. The only thing that you could do improperly is if you go wild, I would say cold turkey and just do everything on your own. You need to balance those plants so that you're meeting these nutrients, because you may become deficient and then you're going to start blaming plants that, oh, it's not giving me energy. Well, it's because you're not balancing it correctly. So you do need guidance when you're trying to plan a plant-based diet, but it is possible, right? So nutrients that you want to make sure to help keep your blood sugar stable, or especially during the holidays, are, we mentioned carb, fat. Oops, something happened there. The T went away. Carb, fat, and protein. So carbohydrates are like fruits, your starchy vegetables like your yam, your banana, your dumpling. I know Caribbean people or other cultures, Latino or any other cultures, those are starchy foods. You want to eat your cultural foods. But on this plate here on my right, can you tell me if there's too many carbs in this plate? Just a wild guess. I'm going to tell you how to to partition your plate. In general, I'm going to show you the different fractions, but this plate here with those two dumplings, the yam, the banana, and all those things, do you think that's a lot of carbs on that plate?
Yes.
Yeah. If this person wasn't like, a 200-pound athlete, 6'1", person, this may be enough for them. So it really depends on the person. So it's a trick question. So it depends on the person. That plate may be just right for someone that's very athletic or that has a high calorie. Maybe it's their first meal in the morning. They break their fast, and the largest quantity that you should eat is probably your breakfast, right? But I do believe in fasting at times, and we'll talk about that another time. If I'm invited back, we'll talk about that. But when you think about a plate, the plate is not partitioned the way that we usually recommend in general. So you want to have 1/4 of your plate protein. So if you think about this plate to the left, my left, you see half their plate is like veggies, the greens are mainly vegetables. 1/4 is a protein that they have. I don't know if it looks like beans or some kind of stew protein, and then 1/4 is a carb. Okay, so if you cut your plate 1/4, 1/4, and a half. And a half is full of vegetables. Vegetables like your greens, your broccoli, your cauliflower, your tomatoes, your lettuce. Fill your plate this Thanksgiving with a lot of non-starchy vegetables. Then 1/4 is going to be like your protein, the palm of your hand or deck of cards. Whether your protein is tofu, lentil loaf, falafel balls, or turkey, think of a deck of cards. And then the other 1/4 is going to be your starch, like those. It could be the yam, the dumpling, or it could be your rice and peas or your sweet potato, your mac and cheese. It's going to be 1/4 of your plate. And if you're still hungry, if you're trying to cut down on calories, go back for more vegetables, right? But again, this meal is just general because this may not be enough for some people. Some people could in their body, they can handle a additional serving of carbohydrates instead of a 1/3 cup of rice, which is very small. They may need a whole cup of rice or a whole cup of pasta, and that may be okay with them because they're very active, right? So it really just depends. But if you think about the 1/4 protein, 1/4 carb, and a half your plate non-starchy vegetables, that's typically how you will balance your nutrients. And then for breakfast, you could switch it up, right? 1/4 of your plate will be fruits, perhaps, or it could be a toast or oatmeal with the fruits, right? And then the other 1/4 for your protein, maybe you want an egg, or maybe you want some nuts and seeds, because those could be proteins and fats, right, on your plate. So there's different ways that you could balance it, but think about carb, protein, and fat. Those are your main nutrients. And again, don't be afraid of carbs. Carbs don't cause diabetes. If I can tell you anything today, make sure you're eating those carbs that are full of nutrients. And I don't know if we have enough time for this. I was going to go over one spice, a cultural spice that you can, there's a lot of spices that I talk about all the time, but this is one particular spice that you can use. Do we have time? Do you want to go over it?
Can you do it in like 3 minutes? Just wanted to, there's a lot of questions that came in.
Okay, I'll try. So,
spice, I know this can go on easily for 2 hours. So
yeah. So yes, research does support spices to help with blood sugar management. You have to use them carefully because some of them can really drop your blood sugar or blood glucose. There are benefits besides just using spices. So you could use turmeric. When I went on NBC Boston, I talked about turmeric. Research has shown that it can help reduce your spike in your blood sugars. But if you're taking medication, you want to be careful especially if you're taking supplements. But if you're using it like in curry, when I make my curry, I use turmeric, I use cumin. There's coriander, there's the allspices, all different things that make curry. Curry is a combination of spices, but you can use spices in the kitchen and it helps to reduce salt and it helps reduce the need of sugar, right? And so that's what you want to make sure you're doing. Use your spices. But if you're taking supplements in the form of the spices, that's when it becomes maybe a little more dangerous, especially if you are taking medication. Other spices that people like to use are like lemon zest. It's more like, it's not really it's a spice, but lemon seasoning mixture, garlic powder, onion powder. Cardamom is like a warm spice that you could add to like cakes or muffins. And when I say cakes, you want to use less sugar, use fruit if you can. But those spices can enhance and reduce blood sugar levels as well. But one of the spices that I want to talk about more detail, I mentioned turmeric and cardamom and others, but there's research on ginger and that lock and key that we talked about. Ginger really helps facilitate the use of your insulin. So there's still more research that's needed, but a clinical study showed that there's a decrease in fats in the body. Ginger reduces fats in the body, but also helps people with lowering their blood sugar that have diabetes. If you take about 3 grams or a half a teaspoon of ginger powder per day for 30 days, this is what the study showed. And again, I'm not telling you to do this, but this is what the study says. And there's a compound in ginger called gingerol. That is the one that is the potent anti-diabetic effect. It increases your insulin sensitivity. So insulin, again, is the key. It makes the insulin work better. It makes it more sensitive, makes it stronger. And so what that does makes it grabs the glucose and puts it in the cell, makes it better working for us. This is what studies are saying with ginger. And so me in my culture, we make a ginger juice, or we put a lot of ginger, we grind it, and you kind of make it like ginger ale, but it's like Caribbean type ginger ale. But you could put ginger in your smoothies. Get a piece of ginger, throw it in your smoothies, because I'm going to show you here how you can use it. This is the profile of ginger. We don't have time to talk about a lot of other things about it, but it's besides blood sugar, it helps with constipation, it helps with reducing fevers, sore throats, all different types of issues that studies have said it can help with, even though more studies are needed. But some of the ways that you can use some of the spices I mentioned, and particularly ginger, in your smoothie, make smoothie healthy shots. I do that all the time. I have recipes for my patients that I send with all my recipes have spices and herbs in them. You could use them in your mealtime. You could just sprinkle it on your foods the way it is. You could use it as a marinade and like sauces over the holidays. But be careful of juices. You want to eat your fruit and not do too many juices because, of course, the sugar can raise quickly in your body, but the fruit itself has the fiber, and the fiber helps to slow down your blood sugar after you eat. And when you make a smoothie can be a sugar spike or it could be a balanced smoothie. So it depends what you put in your smoothie. Some of these smoothies I see online, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's too much sugar from fruits, right? Because fruits are good, but when you put too much, the sugar adds up. So be careful with that. And if you want guidance, you could reach out to a dietitian, myself, or someone else to help you balance your meals and your regimen to help you feel better and to live better. So I want to kind of just bring light onto healthcare professionals. There's a lot of people out there that say they do this and they do that. Look for credentials. Registered dietitian nutritionists are experts in food and nutrition, and we're not experts in everyone's culture. So you could find a dietitian based on your culture. I mentioned the Culture to Health app, but you could find a dietitian that fits your need and that create plans for you. We are health coaches and beyond. We work in hospitals, we work in different facilities, but be careful on what you hear and see about how you should eat. You really want to check people's credentials because you don't go to a mechanic, right? Like I would usually say, if you have an issue with your back, you don't go to a mechanic. Like you don't ask a mechanic for help. Like, what do you think I should do for my back? No, you go to a chiropractor, you go to the physical therapist, and same thing with the physician. You don't ask the physician, hey, how should I plan my diet for pregnancy? Doctors actually don't have a lot of nutrition. And actually, the current government now is wanting to have doctors learn nutrition, but even so, they probably won't have learned enough to meet with a dietitian learns. But you want to go to a specialist. Registered dietitians are called specialists. So make sure you go to your PT, your OT, your whatever you need, the RDN. Find and seek them out because you won't be able to get everything you need from one person. It's called a team. It's called a collaborative approach and a team approach. You should have a team of people that you work with. And I work with my patients' providers. I just don't, if something's going on, labs are off or something, I'm communicating with your provider. And that's the person you want. You want someone that's going to communicate with you. Your levels are going up, things are getting higher. Maybe the doctor may not have seen it, but someone else has seen it. We're going to notify your doctor and let you know. Let them know. But to wrap up everything, you could find me on 360 Girls and Women. You could follow me there, or be gestational. My email is here. I'm happy to answer questions. I get a lot of emails, but I'm happy to give you my email and I can answer your email. And in terms of insurance, we're going to be working on that coming in 2026 to see what insurances we can accept. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I know this is, a lot. I could talk forever and I love answering questions. But We do have to end. So thank you for having me.
This was good. Like it could have went on and on. We have so many questions we're not even going to be able to get to.
Yeah, you could send them to my
I
email,
will
or
send them.
I could come on for like 15 minutes like another time and answer a question. I mean, I'm willing to, to do that, but I could stay for another 5 minutes if you want to have questions, or 2 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Dorothy, you had your hand up for a very long time. Thank you for your
Oh,
patience. Feel free to
yeah.
come off
What
mute.
what is tempeh?
So tempeh is it's fermented tofu. And so sometimes fermented foods are helpful for the gut. And so it's grainy. It looks like you could make it into like if you eat ground beef or ground turkey, that's what I use for my patients to switch them off to tempeh. You do have to soak it in warm water because it has like a bitter taste, but it absorbs the flavor of anything you put. So if you want to like make spaghetti and a meat sauce, or if you want to put it in lasagna, if you want to do some kind of stew with it, tempeh is really good because it crumbles. It comes in like little small crumbles, but it's fermented tofu. And tofu, by the way, is from a soybean. And I recommend, if you want to just go straight to the soybean, then eat soybeans in your food, if you want to cook it like that. But that's what tempeh is.
There was some questions. Thank you for answering that. There was also some questions the app, the Cultured app.
Mhm.
They want to know if it's a free service or
Yeah, so the app is free for you to find a dietitian. You could connect and talk to a dietitian for free on the app, but once you get the dietitian and you want the dietitian to be your dietitian in a plan, then you can follow and download whatever dietitian programming they have, whatever insurance plan they have, and you could follow through with them. So most insurance companies, if the dietitian accepts insurance, are zero copay. Some have some copay. But the app is for you to do matchmaking. So you can pick and choose your dietitian. You could speak to them. You can ask them what they do. You can look at their credentials, look if they follow your cultures, because the app matches based on your culture. So if you're looking for someone that speaks Spanish, Mandarin, we have all the cultures of the continent. So we cover all the continents. So whatever language you have, we should be able to find you a dietitian. They may not all be in Massachusetts, but they could accept insurance, and depending on what insurance you have, they may be able to help or get insured in that state for them to see you. If that answers your question. So it's free to use as a tool for patients currently, clients. Yeah. It's free for dietitians currently. There may be a charge for the dietitian, but the patients, the clients is always free for them to get on it and find and talk and connect. And then once you establish, that's a different connection. Yeah.
oh, thank you. Thank you for answering that. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, Leah had her hands, or is it someone else had a question?
Yeah, feel free to jump in.
Or maybe it was
And I
ready.
just want to say before you jump in, I've put in the survey, Community Convo.
Rosie, it sounds like the link that you put in for the survey is the long COVID survey, not this one.
Is Mary on the call? Do you mind? Sorry, I was trying to keep up with the chat. No, it's the Community Convo attendee survey.
Do you mind taking a photo of, or like a screenshot? Usually sometimes when I do presentation, I take if you allow photos of people to take a photo of us.
Is that something we do, Rick?
Say that again, Sue Ellen. What's
Yeah,
the
usually when I do presentation, sometimes at the end, sometimes people would like a photo of the like event.
Oh,
I mean, I'm okay with it if it's okay with everyone. I know some people don't like photos taken or whatever, but if it's okay with everyone, then I'm fine with it.
is your idea to have everyone like show the attendees? Because right now only you two and the slides are visible.
Oh, it's fine. I mean,
If
Rosie can take it or screenshot it. She could send it to me. If you guys don't do that, it's fine. I don't want to do it without your permission. But typically, when I do presentations, other people they're like, "Oh, we just had a talk with Vital CXN, and we just had conversations and so, and people post it or they tag it or something." So just wondering if it's something that you guys do.
Oh, so we record it and we do post this on our website as well as YouTube. So the whole recording will actually be there.
But I think if you stop sharing and we stop pinning Sue Ellen and Rosie, then we should be able to take a group photo.
Oh, okay.
Let's do that at the end.
Or do that at the end, sure. Yeah, anyone.
Yeah, just give it Leah. I wanted to respect Leah's time. Was it Leah that?
It was
someone had their
Leah
hand
had her hands up.
Yeah, if you want to come back on, she had her hand up for a little while. Do you want to come off mute and ask your question before we come to an end? And also the correct survey. Sorry about that. The correct survey is now in the chat. Feel free to give us your feedback. No, Leah?
Leah?
Sorry, y'all. I got a call
There she
during.
is.
Oh, there you go.
We're here to help, all right?
All right, thanks. At the same time, when y'all told me to come off mute, but anywho, I just want to be able to get in touch with her because she is actually, this is the greatest nutritional stuff I've heard in a long time. And yeah,
Thank you.
because I believe in not eating anything that's not the same color as myself. And I stopped eating red meat a long time ago. And I know sugar is not my friend because my father is diabetic. Oh my goodness, y'all. Sorry. And everything too. So that's in my family. It's a concern of mine. So I
Yeah.
try to do the right thing. But I definitely want to be able to get in touch with her as a have her as a nutritionist.
Yes,
So
I'll definitely be able to, I would love to talk to you.
She will
it's
be
in the chat.
information also in the follow-up email as well. And this convo is being recorded, so you can also feel free to.
Yeah,
A
if you
couple of
go to my
people,
website, 360girlsandwomen.com, and she put it in the chat, I believe you can
I
reach
did
out to me
take that
there. You could also
information.
send me an email if you're having complications on this website, or if you like, some people are not tech savvy, you could send me just an email or you could call, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'll be bugging you because I know you said you get a lot of them, but mine will be up in there to filter in the universe of your email. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
taking the time to back.
Thank you so much for taking the time to respond. I appreciate it.
somebody
And to
also
listen.
asked if we were gonna get a copy of this slideshow.
Sure. I mean, the slideshow is on there. It's recorded. I created it so that it could be recorded. I mean, it is my information, but Rosie,
Is there a safe way for you to send it to me? I think we can attach it.
okay, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, let me know. But again, it's being recorded so you can watch it over and over again.
Yeah.
YouTube page. So we'll be sending out a follow-up email. Someone said this was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Arlene, did you have anything you want to jump right in before we end? There was other questions, but we won't get to it. But I'll send them to you.
Yeah. I can answer questions through email too. And if anyone does not some people are not tech savvy, but most people have phones and everything. But if not, I can leave my number with Rosie. Rosie has my office number, and you could do that way as well. If someone really needs help with their diabetes, yeah, I know it's a struggle sometimes. So whether it's me or someone else, I would love to find a right person for someone that needs the help, because sometimes it could be life altering to get the help that they need.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sue Ellen. You've been so this meeting and your information has just been so great.
Thank you, so
I would love to invite you to another meeting.
Sure.
Maybe sometime in the new year we can
Yeah.
get back and we can maybe spend a little bit more time with you. And I'm sure folks have a lot more questions they like answered. That
Yeah.
is rampant
Yeah.
community.
It is. It's rampant in the community. Is in some people say the BIPOC community, in all communities, especially in those communities, and we need to help each other. So I'm here to help where I can. So thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Rosie. Thank you, everyone that invited me. I appreciate.
Thank you, Sue Ellen.
Yes, hey, Miranda. Make
It's
sure you
so good
go.
to see you.
Yeah.